Welcome everyone to Kraken of the Week, episode 13. This week we have a game featuring player Jesster226, and is this our first Kraken of the Week submission with a legendary ship. In the background here, we do have a game of domination on shards, and this is not only a legendary, but it's a legendary player in a DD going up against 3 radar cruisers, 1 sonar DD, and a carrier, which if you've played destroyers lately, you know that can be extremely frustrating going up with a carrier. And it's going to be a little unconventional, but one of the highest damage games that we've seen here on Kraken of the Week. You see here, Jesster was started right here just west of the B cap. Rather than going in and capturing, we did see those radar cruisers up there close, making sure to stay out of the range of the radar and instead go and do what the Shimakaze does best, which is collect damage and print out dev strikes. So heading straight east across the map, we see the Conqueror here, which also is an absolute DD destroyer. If the Conqueror gets its HE guns on a destroyer, it is going to be a very short game for the destroyer. As the Conqueror loses visibility there, goes ahead and fires 1 set of torpedoes. Now the Shimakaze gets 3 sets of these torpedoes, 5 torpedoes each, maximum damage of 20,000 plus. An absolute ridiculous amount of potential damage sitting on this ship. So you can see here we have the other Shimakaze on the enemy spotted just to our south, along with the Alaska, and making sure now to stay out of the radar range of the Alaska. It's right at 9.5 kilometers, and it can, if it spots, the Alaska's going to be able to get 2 to 3 salvos off on Jesster here, but it's mainly important just to go ahead and maintain a little bit of distance. But in the meantime here, those torpedoes that were launched at the Conqueror takes out for kill number 1 and a devastating strike. And again, look at that. Only 2 torpedo hits, but it was enough to get the dev strike, which is at least 50% of the ship's health. And just unreal if you're going up against a Shimakaze. It's extremely frustrating seeing all those torpedoes in the water. So now going back to the south here, we are aware there is a CV somewhere on the map. Fortunately, though, the CV does not seem overly concerned with Jesster at this point. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to go after the caps, but if you're not doing the caps, you want to go after the high damage potential on the enemy team. Now you can see here, got a little close to the Alaska, got radared by the Alaska, but fortunately, it looks like the Alaska doesn't have the guns pointed this way. It's going to be able to kite away. But in the meantime, the Alaska does catch 2 of Jester's torpedoes and ends up going down. Kill number 2, 63,000 damage already, only 4 minutes into the game. At this point, we see the carrier does begin to take some interest, but the carrier has made a fatal mistake here and has been stationary. Only 5 kilometers away at this point. Jesster doing the right move and making a beeline for the carrier. So what you want to do is you want to get this ship off the map, get the planes out of the air, and make it a little bit easier to go around the map without being spotted. From this distance, with these torpedoes moving at the speed that they do, this is a very easy kill. Honestly, probably should have just launched 1 of the torpedo sets here. The first one was a little behind, but it was enough. The carrier didn't have quite enough damage, and right there goes down for devastating strike number 2 and kill number 3. And if you look at the red team, Jesster has managed to get all 3 kills on the red team so far, and absolutely great method. If you're not going to go out and get caps, you need to be getting kills, and this is how you do it. If you look at the minimap in the top left, we did see that there was a destroyer approaching. And so at this point, want to go ahead, get away from this place. Somehow right there, the Shimakaze doesn't have great AA, but takes out that last plane from the carrier, and that really helped him. If they had kept being spotted by the carrier or by the plane that was right above them, it would have been very difficult to continue on. But fortunately, they're able to get away and go ahead and continue back towards the middle of the map and get a little bit more central position. In the meantime, you can see our enemy team has started losing a couple other bodies. Unfortunately, they do have the cap advantage. 2 red caps to no blue caps so far. That is the only reason the red team is ahead. You see there's a significant ship advantage for the blue team. So at this point, what they need to do, go and get those capture points, get those residual points coming in. That way you can get a little bit closer to victory without risking a potential loss due to caps. Looking off to the west here, we see we do have a Wichita, another radar cruiser. Jester recognizing the threat of that ship, making sure to call it out, get the friendly blue ships shooting at it and taking it out. Looking at the torpedo tracker there, we see that the Wichita is heading slightly in their direction, but most likely going to go back behind the island. And then at the same time, we see the enemy Shimakaze pressing in, but we have a great carrier player going out, spotting the Shimakaze, letting Jester know where the threat is, and allowing them to get some torpedoes in the water to make life just a little bit more difficult for the Shimakaze. Again, that is the red team's only destroyer that is left. As you see right there, the Wichita that was going out, Jester did capture them with 1 torpedo, and that's 8 torpedo hits, which explains the 131,000 damage with only 8 hits. Keep in mind that ships, and especially battleships, do have torpedo damage reduction, which is why you're not going to get that 20,000 in damage per torpedo hit. As you saw right there, Wichita did catch a torpedo, and now we do have some friendly ships firing in at them. Still at 10 kilometers, so we're outside the Wichita's radar range, but as they turn in right here, more than likely they're gonna get themselves close enough to be spotted by the radar if the Wichita was to turn on. Fortunately though, blue team does a great job. It takes out that cruiser, and that was the last main threat to spotting Jester at range. So now we have the Shimakaze and 2 Yamatos left. You see, once again, the carrier player doing a great job, floating right above the Shimakaze, keeping them spotted, allowing the blue team to go ahead, get some shots in there. Shimakaze on the enemy team, realizing how much trouble they're in, goes ahead, pops a smoke screen, but Jester pretty much just made up their mind at this point. They're going to go in and go for the kill. Turn a little bit to the right, get all 3 gun turrets on. And unfortunate, 2 penetrations, but only 1 seemed to register damage. But the second salvo gets them in. Jester is right there, nice and close, so able to spot the torpedoes coming in and definitely help the other blue team players see them coming. As this is all happening, you see the blue team did go ahead, capture C, so that's going to give them some residual points coming in the process of capturing B, and they have the overall score lead at this point. So things are looking really good for the blue team. However, there still are 2 Yamatos, biggest guns in the game, biggest threats at long range right now for wiping other ships off the map in a very big hurry. At this point, Jester has one job, which is to take these last 2 battleships off the map, and honestly that is what this ship was made for. Take out battleships in a hurry, make life extremely difficult for them, and really you can control battleship movements based on your torpedo, because if they do not dodge your torpedoes, you're going to hit them and kill them. But if they do have to dodge, more than likely they're going to have to turn broadside to your friendly ships, which will make a juicy target, as Yamatos have a very vulnerable citadel when shot broadside. You can see here, just under 6 kilometers out, launching these torpedoes. They're not going to take long to get there. 2 torp runs at the first ship, 1 torp run at the second. And you can see right here, the front Yamato begins to recognize the threat that's coming in. Turns out a little bit, and fortunately for them, based on where our friendly ships were, he's going to be able to dodge the torpedoes without exposing his broadside, and does take out our friendly Cleveland there. We can see the last 2 torpedo sets coming in now. Caught 1 right there, 2, 3, 4 torpedo hits. And absolutely getting the high caliber there. 5.6, and there's the Kraken. So 6 out of the 10 on the last 2 torpedo sets are absolutely devastating. Now up over 200,000 in damage. Phenomenal game. You know, if you're not getting caps, this is absolutely what the Shimakaze needs to be doing, and Jester's doing this just right. At this point, the Yamato is in trouble. He probably has a decent idea that there is the Shimakaze floating nearby. He is spotted, however, and most likely due to our carrier having planes in the area. And if I was in Jester's shoes at this point, I would be doing the same thing. I'm going for this suicide torp run. I'm going to go in. I'm going to use these numerous torpedoes to go ahead and get this last kill. The one thing I probably would do right here, I would have launched the first torpedo set early on. Jester holds on and gives the Yamato time to get a salvo off, just barely staying alive. Only 600 hit points, but gets the torpedoes off, and right there, kill number 6, landing 4 more torpedoes, another devastating strike, and the Confederate. Absolutely great game, high XP, great job, Jester. Such a fun and effective way to play this ship. Well, thank you all for watching. That's all we have for today. If this is your first time coming to the channel, consider hitting subscribe. We'll have a lot more videos coming at you shortly. Have a great day.